Very important phenomena, and there are questions or there are going to be calculations which are going to be asked on this Chagof's rule. So, my dears, please pay very good attention as usual. And if there is any difficulty or any doubt, do let me know. So, hmm, why is this not getting shared? Oh, problem with it. Just give me a minute, but I think so there is some problem with my net. Thank you so much, Beta. Thank you. Yeah. So, well, so I was talking about the Chagov's rule, and I wanted to share that cell. So let me see. I hope now it will get shared. Yes, because of some connection error, now it's not getting shared. Screen was getting shared. Anyway, so uh, okay, just give you a recap about what we did last class. So many, I mean, earlier we have seen about nucleotides and all, but here we had talked about the X-ray crystallography method, which made the structure of DNA very clear, and the Nobel Prize was awarded to Watson, Crick, and Wilson. and it was their teamwork that revealed the structure of DNA, how it was made up of, and what was the complementarity between A and T, G and C, and so on. So according to this model, the DNA is composed of two polynucleotide chains. So you know what is a polynucleotide. So when many nucleotides will be joined together, it forms one polynucleotide chain. In that way, there are two polynucleotide chains, which are then going to make the double helical structure of DNA. Okay. So both polypeptide chains are complementary and are anti-parallel to each other. So that only I told you that एक जा रहा है Borivali से Churchgate train, दूसरा जा रहा है Churchgate से Borivali. So ये कैसे ऐसे opposite direction में जाते हैं ना? That is what is called as anti-parallel. So here also both the DNA strands are going to be anti-parallel to each other, is what we had seen. Then we saw that there is something called as phosphoester bond, glycosidic bonds, and phosphodiester bonds. And I think so. I have given you 2 or 3 questions also based on phosphoesters and phosphodiesters. And I told you that always the first of each of the DNA strand, the first nucleotide of each of the DNA strand will have a phosphoester bond. उसके नीचे जितने भी ऐड होते जाएंगे वो सारे डाइएस्टर्स बनाएंगे, है ना? तो ये डबल स्ट्रैंडेड डीएनए है अपना ऐसा। तो यहाँ पर जैसे एक फॉस्फोएस्टर है, वैसे यहाँ पर भी एक फॉस्फोएस्टर है, राइट? करेक्ट? इसलिए इन केस ऑफ 200 बेस पेयर्स, how many phosphoesters? Then 2 phosphoesters and 198 phosphodiesters, what we saw in the last class. Okay. Anyone having any difficulty with whatever we have already discussed before in the last class, so that I can move ahead with the next points of DNA, कैसे दिखता है, कैसे होता है, and all those things. Anyone having any difficulty, my dears? Anyone wants me to repeat any point? Anyone wants me to explain any particular conceptual error or whatever you're doing? Or can I go ahead? I'll go ahead since I'm not getting any doubts in the chat box. He had doubts. No doubts. आगे जा सकते हैं. Well, so this was our backbone, as I said, that sugar है, phosphate है, or nucleotide है. So how the backbone of the DNA is there, who is projecting which word, everything we had done in the last class itself. Then we come to something called a Chargaff's. Now, what is this Chargaff's? Erwin Chargaff and his colleagues in the year 1949 at Columbia analyzed that the composition of DNA from various sources by quantitative chromatographic methods was studied. Chromatographic means, chroma means color. Okay. So, chromatography is a method or a technique to find out the details of these biomolecules. So when in your higher studies in the future, you will come to know that there is something called as paper chromatography. Then you have got something called as column chromatography. You have got something called as gas chromatography. So there are various methods of these chromatography. Chromatographic means using the spectrum colors, we can see the peaks of all these. So वो आएगा डिटेलिंग बाद में. फिलहाल आप बस याद रखिएगा कि chromatography is a technique for analyzing biomolecules. Okay. So their observations are called as Chargaff's rules, which states that, very important, regardless the source, means let that DNA be from anything. It could be from a microbe, or it could be from yeast, or it could be from animal, it could be from plant, it could be from human beings, irrespective of the source. Okay. So regardless the source of the DNA, the purine and the pyrimidine bases occurs always in equal amounts. Okay. So DNA है मतलब जितने प्यूरिन है उतने pyrimidine होने ही चाहिए. This is the Chargaff's rule, beta. Fine, understood? Because DNA is always complementary strand. Okay, it's complementary. So if there are 100 purines, there have to be 100 pyrimidines and vice versa. Okay, so that is what they are saying. A plus G is always equal to T plus C. A is adenine, G is guanine. So जितना adenine है, जितना purine है, उतना ही pyrimidine होना चाहिए. So that is thymine plus cytosine. So the number of purine nucleotides will always be equivalent to the number of pyrimidines. Fine. The amount of adenine is equivalent to the amount of thymine. Why? Why? Because A is always going to pair with T. Correct? तो अगर 100 एडेनिन मॉलिक्यूल्स है तो डबल स्ट्रैंड बनाने के लिए उसके सामने 100 थाइमीन होने चाहिए कि नहीं, तो ही वो कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री स्ट्रैंड बनेगा. So the number of adenine and the number of thymine are always going to be equal in a DNA. Similarly, it's going to be the number of guanine will be always equivalent to the number of cytosine. So जितने A है उतने T है, जितने G है उतने C है. Did you get me? So purine जितने हैं उतने ही pyrimidines हैं और वो भी very specific. वो भी very specific. So A upon T is always equal to 1. So as I say, if there are 100 adenine, there has to be 100 thymine. So 100 upon 100 is equal to 1. Similarly, cytosine is equivalent to guanine. So G by C is also always going to be 1. Thus, there is a base equivalence in DNA. Never ever it's like that way. Ha, yes, my dear. There are 2 hydrogen bonds between A and T and 3 hydrogen bonds between G and C. Right? I'm coming to that, of course. So what happens is the base ratio will be what? A is equal to T upon G is equal to C. However, rarely equal to 1 and varies with different species from 0.4 to 1.9, but is constant for a species. Okay, that means what? Technically, it is always 1. Technically, it is always 1. बट प्रैक्टिकली है ना, कभी कभी एक हाथ दो मिसप्लेस हो जाते हैं, तो थोड़ा कभी कभी रेशियो में इधर उधर होता है, बट टेक्निकली इट इज 1. ओके, therefore base ratio has been used to identify the DNA from a particular source. So microbes में it could be 0.4. okay, so अगर 0.4 रेशियो वाला DNA मिलता है तो we can easily say that this is going to be of a microbe. 1 मिलता है तो it is going to be of animals. Even human beings always the ratio is 1, should be 1 in fact. Okay, so Chargaff's rule क्या है, समझ में आया बेटा? The number of purine is always equivalent to number of pyrimidines. The base pairing confers a very unique property to the polynucleotide chain. They are said to be complementary to each other, and therefore if the sequence of base in one strand is known, the sequence can be derived or predicted of the other strand. तो अगर एक स्ट्रैंड पे है A, T, G, C, अगर एक स्ट्रैंड के ऊपर ऐसा सीक्वेंस है तो बाय द रूल ऑफ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री क्या होगा? A विल पेयर विद T. सो इधर A है तो इधर क्या होगा बेटा? T. G यहाँ पर है तो यहाँ पर C. करेक्ट, अंडरस्टूड? यहाँ पर अगर T है तो यहाँ पर A. You understand? So A will pair with T will pair with A, G will pair with C will pair with G. You understood ना? So एक साइड का अगर हमें सीक्वेंस पता है, एक डीएनए सीक्वेंस का अगर हमें एक डीएनए स्ट्रैंड का सीक्वेंस हमें पता है, तो इट इज वेरी इजी टू प्रेडिक्ट द सीक्वेंस ऑफ अदर स्ट्रैंड. Why? Due to the rule of complementarity. Did you all understand this? So also, if each strand from DNA acts as a template for synthesis of new strand, the two double-stranded DNA thus produced would be identical to the parent DNA molecule. Now, because of this complementary pairing, whenever the two DNA strands will separate, okay, and a new DNA strand will be formed on this template, and a new DNA strand will be, made on this template. Template समझते हो? Mold. मोल्ड्स होते हैं ना अपने केक के मोल्ड्स, आइस क्यूब्स के मोल्ड्स, राइट? तो जो मोल्ड है उस टाइप का शेप आपका केक ले लेगा. इफ योर मोल्ड इज स्क्वायर शेप, योर केक आल्सो वुड बी स्क्वायर शेप. So as the mold is, so would be the shape. In your template, if it is A, the new strand will have T. Template has got G, new strand will have C. Template has got A, new strand T. Template T, new strand A. समझ में आ रहा है? तो जो नया strand बनने वाला है जब S phase of cell cycle आता है, we all know during the cell cycle we have already seen that during interphase there is going to be S phase, and during S phase there is a replication of DNA. Replication of DNA का मतलब क्या होता है बेटा? The two-stranded DNA becomes four-stranded DNA, right? So we have seen the amount of DNA doubles. अगर 2C है, so it will become 4C. Do you recollect last year's content of cell cycle, right? So that is doubling of DNA that we were saying. मतलब two-stranded DNA है वो four-stranded होने चाहिए. तो ये four-stranded कैसे होते हैं is what I'm trying to tell you. Okay? So if first strand and the second strand दोनों सेपरेट हो गए, दोनों का अगर अपने को सीक्वेंस पता है तो न्यू स्ट्रैंड डेवलप करना इजी हो जाएगा. So we call the parental strand or the strands which are going to separate as template strands. क्या कहते हैं हम इनको? Template. Got it? Yes? Very good. So what will happen now? During DNA replication, when the two parental strands will separate, both will act as templates. ठीक है? कैसे होता है वो आगे बताऊंगी, don't worry. Because of this, the genetic implications of the structure of DNA became very clear. Melting point of DNA depends on GC content. The reason is G and C has got 3 hydrogen bonds. So it will take, like the melting point will be quite higher for breaking the triple bonds rather than breaking the double bonds. So just strand में, I'm repeating this. इसके ऊपर favorite questions है, इसलिए बता रही हूँ बेटा. The number of GC जितने ज्यादा है उतने ट्रिपल बॉन्ड ज्यादा उनमें, उतने 3 हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड ज्यादा है उनमें. Therefore it will take much more energy to melt this DNA as compared to A2. तो अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल कैसे क्वेश्चन आता है आपके एग्जाम में वो बता रही. I'll just tell you how the question is going to be asked. So in the question paper, the question would be like this way, that they would be giving you sequences. In that they would say, like ऐसे sequence देंगे A T T T G C G C A T T. Okay? दूसरा sequence देंगे A या फिर G G G G G C C C C A T. तीसरा sequence देंगे A T G C G C A T. और चौथा sequence देंगे G C A T G C A T A T. ऐसा sequence देंगे. तो जिधर GC कंटेंट ज्यादा है उसका मेल्टिंग पॉइंट हायर है. So look at the second option where I had said maximum of GCs. So in that the energy required to melt that DNA will be much higher as compared to the rest of the three. तो अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है ना बेटा, count the number of GCs. The strand which is going to have more GC will be more stable, will have a higher melting point, and it will not be easily degradable. Okay, so such type of questions have been asked in your previous year's question papers. You have got the modules with you all. You can easily solve these type of questions from your module. Fine, it's very important to solve these. So melting point of DNA depends upon the GC content. More GC content, then higher would be the melting point. TM means the temperature of melting. ये short forms है. TM of DNA is so and so degrees. So you should know what is TM. TM is temperature of melting. TM of prokaryotic DNA is higher than the TM of eukaryotic DNA. Okay. DNA absorbs UV radiations, means 2600 angstroms of wavelength will be absorbed by DNA, and therefore DNA is more prone to undergo mutations. So especially the fetal DNA जो होता है ना, it is so very hyperactive in absorbing the UV radiations, and therefore people, like the females who are pregnant are not allowed to go into the X-ray rooms or any strong radiations, and they are even, like you might have heard about the eclipses. So whenever there is going to be solar eclipse especially, or even lunar eclipse for that matter, there are certain rules that a pregnant female has to follow. It is not for the sake of, religion. It is for the sake of science. During that particular period of time, maximum UV radiations are going to be entering the, Earth's crust, and that time it's very dangerous for the female to, female ka fetus rather, I would say, the fetus to undergo genetic mutations, and that is the reason she's like asked to be at home, sit at one place, not to do any activities, not to go out, and all those things are associated with science, nothing associated with, the superstitions. But that time, when these things were known to the scientists, but they couldn't explain this to the common man. That time, they had put everything in the name of, God and fear and, ghost and, buri, kya kehte hai, whatever, like, bad waves and all those things. But practically speaking, it is UV radiations which are going to get a clear access during the eclipse period. Okay. Yeah, they used to believe in, all these superstitions. Even today, some people say, क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? ये सब superstitions है, ये सारे myths है, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है। भाई बराबर है, as a myth अगर आप लेते हो तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है। But if you think from the science point of view, yes, it does matter. Okay, so the DNA, which is going to be continuously and rapidly being formed in the fetal condition, is more prone to get altered by the UV radiation, right? Yeah. Huh. Yeah. No. It happens. It happens. My dear, it's not like that way. It doesn't happen. It happens. You might not see it immediately at that particular time, but it is going to have the significance. Later on, you will, like after so many years, you would come to know about it. Now, when I was born, there was, there was a very huge solar eclipse that time during when the year when I was born. And I had many school friends of mine, even, because we school friends jo hote hain, we are born almost in the same year, na? So I had many friends who had some deformities and some distortions in their morphological as well as their physiological features. I am still their friends, of course. So there were many of my friends. It especially occurs during solar eclipse, as I said. Yeah, really, it's a fact. It's a fact because there is a scientific base to it, beta. ये सच है या ये झूठ है is not the, it's not the question of सच या झूठ. It is a question of science. It's a question of science. Like what? Like one of my friend has got her lip completely divided into her upper lip completely divided into two pieces. Upper lip is split. It is split. It is completely ऐसे बीच में से फट गया है. One of my best friends. She was also like 1 or 2 months younger to me. उसका पूरा upper lip फट गया है. I've got one more friend who has got, her ears almost folded like samosa. Ears का जो pinna होता है ना, the pinna is folded in the form of samosa. One more batchmate of mine, my schoolmate, one more schoolmate of mine, he had a protruding, like ये जो अपना forehead होता है ना, he had a protruding forehead. मतलब ये जो दो points है ना, they were protruding outwards. And this is not just like, I'm just giving you 1, 2, 3 cases. There are so many of my friends who have, I mean, I have experienced this. Okay. Surgical treatments and all, it's a different thing. Even you have seen, yeah, there are many people who might have, seen. There was one more friend of mine who had a normal skin color, almost, half of her face was normal skin color, and half of her face ka color had turned to be purple. Literally purple color ka face tha. She was so beautiful female she was, when in school. She was very fair, in fact, very long hair, and she was really very beautiful. But almost half of her face, and not in exactly half, ऐसा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा wavy face उसका यहाँ से पूरा है ना purple color का हो गया था. And there was no treatment to that. Okay, so there are such type of deformities. Now, why this happened, how this happened, it is UV radiations that have caused it. It is not because उसके मम्मी ने ये किया, उसके मम्मी ने वो किया, ये सब जो बातें हैं वो myths है. That is superstition. I don't believe in that. But UV radiations can cause any type of damage and any type of havoc, that's for sure. Hmm. exactly. One side dark and one side white. You have seen, na? Exactly. Even she was like that. Her almost this much face, you know, not perfect था. ऐसे ये ऐसे baby face ऐसा था. ऐसा पूरा एक पर्पल कलर का उसका हाफ फेस था एंड बाकी का जो फेस था इट वाज नॉर्मल स्किन कलर. शी वाज फेयर इनफ. So many such deformities were experienced, and that was a very like the intensity of the solar eclipse at my time of birth, it was very strong is what my mama says even today. So yeah, cut from her upper lip during birth, exactly, exactly. So these are the things which are experienced, beta. These are the things which are experienced, and that is because of this. The fetal DNA is more prone to get immediately mutated because of this UV radiation, right? Huh. Yeah, albino patients is also because of mutation only, and that is also one of the major reasons, especially during the eclipse time. Now, these all things does matter, bacha. So more than superstitions and myths, now believe in science, I would say. And the science clearly says UV radiations are responsible for all these type of deformities. Okay. So, anyways, so that is what is the speciality of our DNA. So we have to be very careful. But what are the salient features of the double helix structure of DNA? See, it is made of two polynucleotide chains. You can see this. This is one chain, A, C, G, T, T, C, T, A, G. ये जो है ना, ये white वाला एक जो thread दिखाई दे रहा है, वो एक है. और ये जो yellow वाला है, वो दूसरा है. So it is made up of two polynucleotide chains, correct? One then in that white and the other one in the yellow, right? Where the backbone is constituted by the sugar phosphate and the bases project inside. You know that how it would be, right? ऐसे है, ऐसे, correct? The two chains have anti-parallel polarity, means if one chain has a polarity from 5 prime to 3 prime, the other should definitely have from 3 prime to 5 prime. So here you can see very clearly about the, yeah, see, this is 5 prime going down, 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 down to 3 prime. बराबर. और इसके सामने देखो बेटा, 3 के सामने 5 है, गोइंग अप 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 3 प्राइम. सो एक जा रहा है चर्च गेट टू बोरिवली, एक जा रहा है बोरिवली टू चर्च गेट. एंटी पैरेलल होते हैं, वो हमने देखा है ऑलरेडी, राइट? सो दिस इज गोइंग बी कॉल्ड एज योर anti-parallel mechanism or anti-parallel nature of DNA. One runs from 5 prime to 3 prime, other runs from 3 prime to 5 prime. Okay. The bases in the two strands are paired to the hydrogen bonds, that is H bonds, formed between the base pairs. So A and T is one base pair, which is abbreviated as BP. तो एडेनिन एक बेस है, थाइमिन दूसरा बेस है. इन दोनों में दो हाइड्रोजन बॉन्ड्स है, तो ये बन गया बेस पेयर. इसको हम क्या कहते हैं? बेस पेयर. Then adenine forms two hydrogen bonds with thymine from the opposite strand and vice versa. Similarly, guanine is bonded with cytosine with three hydrogen bonds. As a result, always a purine comes opposite to a pyrimidine. So A के सामने हमेशा T आएगा. A अपना प्यूरिन है, T अपना pyrimidine है. वैसे ही G प्यूरिन है, C pyrimidine है. So always there's going to be, purine, pyrimidine और pyrimidine, purine. Okay, purine bonds नहीं बनाते हैं, pyrimidine bonds, hydrogen bonds नहीं बनाते हैं. Okay, this generates approximately uniform distance between the two strands of the helix. So because of this property, almost the distance between them is always going to be almost equal. Okay, तो ये A, T, C, H, C इसमें से डिस्टेंस ऑलमोस्ट सेम है, स्टेप के जैसे, वन स्टेप्स. स्टेयरकेस के कैसे स्टेप्स होते हैं ना, समथिंग लाइक दैट. ओके, एनी डिफिकल्टी विद दिस? एनी डिफिकल्टी विद दीज पॉइंट्स? एनीवन हु हैज नॉट अंडरस्टूड एनी ऑफ दीज पॉइंट्स? बोलो. इजी है ये. The two chains are coiled at right in a right-handed fashion. तो ये ऐसे अगर हम लोग घुमाते हैं तो राइट हैंडेड हो गया, ऐसे घुमाते हैं तो लेफ्ट हैंडेड हो गया, right? So this is going to be coiled in the right-handed fashion. You move your hand towards your right hand towards the right side. उसको हम कहते हैं right-handed fashion. The pitch of the helix is 3.4 nanometers. What is a nanometer? A nanometer is 1 billionth of a meter, that is 10 raised to minus 9. Please remember these values. 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meters. And there are roughly 10 base pairs in each turn. So if you see, ये देखो, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. मतलब 5 यहाँ पर बेसिस है, 5 यहाँ पर बेसिस है, इसलिए 10 बोल रहे वो लोग. ऑलमोस्ट 5 हियर एंड 5 हियर. तो ये जो एक टर्न है ना बेटा, दिस इज 1 टर्न. ये देखो यहाँ से यहाँ तक, दिस इज कॉल्ड एज 1 टर्न. तो 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 bases इधर, 5 bases इधर. So 5 base pairs in this and 5 इधर. So in one turn there is going to be 10 base pairs. अब maximum students confuse क्या करते हैं पता है खुद को? They feel this is one turn. Many students feel this is one turn and therefore they feel इसमें 10 आने चाहिए. बेटा one turn किधर है देखो, 3.4 nanometers will make up the pitch of the turn which is going to have 10 base pairs. So यहाँ से almost यहाँ से यहाँ तक, can you see? They have labeled it as 3.4. So इतने में there are going to be your 10 base pairs. Okay. Consequently, the distance between the base pairs in a helix approximately will equal to 0.34 nanometers. तो अगर ये 3.4 है तो इसमें अगर 10 है तो 3.4 divided by 10. So distance between each step will be 0.34 nanometers. Agreed? Calculations है इसके ऊपर. So please pay attention to whatever I'm saying. The plane of one base pair stacks over the other in the double helix. This, in addition of the H bond, confers stability to the helical structure. So because of this now, because of this typical structure of DNA, it is highly stable. And if you remember last class we had done that the genetic material should be stable. So because of the hydrogen bonding, because of the stacking one above the other, okay, they are going to have additional stability. So what is one particular turn, beta? One turn is going to be called as pitch of folding, okay, or turning. And the distance is around 3.4 nanometers. And then in that 3.4 nanometers, 10 steps will be present. ये जो 10 steps मतलब 10 base pairs would be present. So the distance between each base pair will be 3.4 nanometers divided by 10, that is 0.34 nanometers. Is it clear? Have you all understood this? Look at this word called as minor groove and major groove, बेटा. ये देखो, ये जो एक टर्न है ना, इसको हम कहते हैं माइनर ग्रूव, और ये जो दूसरा है उसको हम कहते हैं मेजर ग्रूव. सो जो पूरा टर्न होता है ना, उसको हम कहते हैं 1 minor plus 1 major, that is equal to the pitch of the DNA. Is it okay? Understood what is the pitch, what is a minor groove and what is a major groove? देखो माइनर ग्रूव मतलब ये छोटा सा फोल्डिंग है, और मेजर मतलब ये देखो कितना अंदर जा रहा है. तो एक छोटा और फिर बिल्कुल अंदर जाके वापस बाहर. तो अगेन दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ माइनर, अगेन दिस इज गोइंग टू बी अ मेजर. ये वाला कौन सा है बताओ? दिस इज मेजर और दिस इज माइनर. कैन यू टेल मी? जहां मेरा कर्सर घूम रहा है, कम ऑन टेल मी. इज इट मेजर? इज इट माइनर? वेरी गुड प्रेक्षा. यस नेहा, वेरी नाइस. कम ऑन, दिस ग्रुप मेजर है माइनर है? बताओ 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 फटाफट, फटाफट आंसर आने चाहिए आपके. 2 लोगों ने अभी तक आंसर किए हैं, 3. यस प्राची. देवांग करेक्ट, प्राची करेक्ट. हाँ प्राची. दिस वन लुक एट दिस. मेरा कैसे घूम रहा है कर्सर. लुक एट दिस माइनर. ये माइनर देखो, दिस इज माइनर, दिस इज माइनर, दिस इज मेजर. ये मेजर है, ये माइनर है. मैं पूछ रही हूँ ये कौन सा है? come on, tell me quickly. Very good Ashita. Yes Shruti right, Sonali right, Shuchi right, Ishita right. Come on, जो लोग अटेंड कर रहे हैं उनके नाम मैं ले रही हूँ अभी. I have already told you about what I mean by taking your names. Quickly answer the question. Priyanka, right. Ashwin, देखो बेटा एक बार वापस, look at your answer. TA क्या होता है बेटा? TA नहीं TA छोड़ो, TA का TA is hymen is combining with adenine. My question is what is the group? Yes Tanvi, ये देखो, तो ये जो है यहाँ से यहाँ मेजर ग्रूव है ना, इतना बड़ा अंदर V के जैसा जा रहा है, नहीं दिखाई दे रहा है आपको? ये देखो, it's going completely inside and coming outside. So this groove मतलब डेप्थ, तो जो अंदर तक डीप जा रहा है दैट इज अ मेजर ग्रूव, जो सुपरफिशियली अंदर जाके तुरंत बाहर है इट्स अ माइनर ग्रूव, राइट? सो ये कैसे जा रहा है? इज इट गोइंग डीप इनसाइड एंड कमिंग आउटसाइड, कि इसके जैसा फटाफट अंदर जाके बाहर आ रहा है? हाउ इज इट? इट्स गोइंग डीप ना, या सो इट हैज टू बी व्हाट बेटा? यस सिया, यू आर राइट. सो व्हाट इट शुड बी? हाँ, यस हिमांशु, करेक्ट. नाउ अश्विन, यू आर राइट. Come on, others. Good morning, karo. Fatafat. I want answers from all of you all. Yes, Aditi, correct. Sara, correct. Arya, correct. Where are others? Where are others? Come on, I want answers. Preeti ma'am, if you are there in the lecture, I can see you in the list. Preeti ma'am, आज का जो recording है वो किसी को भी नहीं जाना चाहिए. जो बच्चे absent है और जो बच्चे ध्यान नहीं दे रहे, आज का recording किसी को भी नहीं मिलेगा पोर्टल पे. आज का रिकॉर्डिंग आप नहीं भेजोगे पोर्टल पे, जो एब्सेंट है वो लोग को भी नहीं भेजना है आज का रिकॉर्डिंग. ओके, इट्स अ स्ट्रिक्ट इंस्ट्रक्शंस फ्रॉम माय एंड, प्रीति मैम. सो who, I think so even Sushmita ma'am is there. No one is going to, yes Sushmita ma'am, even you are there, right? No one is going to get the recording for today's lecture. It's my
Okay.
to all of you all.
Yeah.
And don't put this lecture on YouTube. Don't give anyone access to view this lecture henceforth at all, because this
Okay.
lecture is very important and I had told all the students to be present. I don't want any absenteeisms करके मैंने last class में बोला था. फिर भी अगर बच्चे लोग absent रह रहे हैं, उनको अगर उतना genuineness नहीं है, उनको अगर उतना seriousness नहीं है, तो even I'm going to be serious now.
Okay.
No one is going to get the recording of today's lecture. So ध्यान देना ही पड़ेगा, जो भी मैं बता रही हूँ आपको ध्यान देके सुनना ही पड़ेगा. Yes, if it is deep, it's going to be major. That's what I'm saying since such a long time. That whenever the groove is going to be deep enough, it's going to be called as major groove. If it's going to be a small, छोटा सा depth है, जैसे कि यहाँ पर आपने इधर लेबलिंग भी किया हुआ है. You can look over here. This is minor groove, जहाँ पर इतना छोटा सा deep है. और ये देखो ये deep कितना अंदर अंदर तक गया है. So जितना deep है वो that is going to be called as your major groove. So minor groove plus major groove is going to make up the pitch of DNA. Fine. Well, so I hope you all have understood what is minor, what is major, and how many base pairs are going to be present between each pitch or each turn. So there are going to be 10 base pairs present between each turn. I have already told you how to calculate each turn. Huh. Yeah, what are you saying, beta? Alternate to after, yeah, after every minor there is going to be a major. Of course, that's true. अगर आप ये तरफ से देखोगे ना, if you look from this angle, then what is this one? ये बताओ, इधर उन्होंने minor groove बताया है इसके लिए, but if you look in the opposite side, what will this groove be? Come on, tell me. Exactly, exactly. Very good. Very nice. So the way you look at the, DNA strand. So if you want to look from this angle, this becomes the major groove. But if you look from this angle, this becomes the minor groove. So major and minor lie opposite to each other. They are alternating. Correct? And that is the reason the DNA strand is going to be conferred with extra stability. Huh. Another angle, the major and the alternate. Exactly. They're always going to be like this way only. Okay? So pay attention to these particular small details because ये questions बहुत ज़्यादा आते हैं आपके एग्जाम में. Value भी याद रखो. Whatever the way you're going to label it, accordingly you will the things that you're going to mark it accordingly, you will have to label it. Any angle is okay. You can make it from left, but you know the deep one is major, the superficial is minor. You can label it in this way, you can label it in that way, but labeling सही करो बेटा. ठीक है, any तरफ से करोगे तो भी चलेगा, कोई problem नहीं है. But now these are the types of DNA not given in your textbooks, but frequently asked in your examinations. That's going to be A DNA, B DNA, C DNA, and Z DNA. What are the differences in these? A DNA is right-handed coiled. B DNA is also right-handed coiled. C DNA is also right-handed coiled. DA is also right-handed coiled, and Z alone is left-handed. So A, B, C, D सारे right-handed coiling वाले DNA हैं. लेकिन Z DNA जो है वो left-handed है. हाँ? What's your doubt, बेटा? DNA is so coiled and squeezed in small space in nucleus. Why does it need stability? If it is not going to be stable, it will undergo mutations. Okay? And though it is coiled inside, it is going to undergo replication every 24 hours. That time it has to uncoil itself. So at that particular time, especially, there is going to be a high chance of mutations. Right? How many base pairs would be present per turn? A में होते हैं 11, B में होते हैं 10, C में होते हैं 9, D में होते हैं 8, and Z DNA has got 12 base pairs in them. Now looking at this, can you all tell me that human DNA is A, B, C, D की Z? Which is the human DNA? Having how many base pairs in one turn? Exactly. So it's going to be the B DNA, बेटा. हमारे डीएनए के एक टर्न में 10 बेस पेयर्स होते हैं. ओके, सो आर डीएनए इज बी डीएनए व्हिच इज राइट हैंडेड हैविंग 10 बेस पेयर्स. ठीक है, लुक एट द एसपी बैकबोन, दैट इज शुगर फॉस्फेट बैकबोन, स्मूथ इन ऑल द फोर, बट इन जेड डीएनए इट इज जिगजैग. तो हमारे में जो है सब में ये स्मूथ होता है, लेकिन इनमें ऐसे zigzag होता है ZDNA में. ठीक है, axial rise is going to be 2.56, 3.37, 3.32, 3.03 and 3.8 Armstrong. No need of remembering axial rise के values. No need of remembering. मैं खुद से सामने से बोल रही हूँ, अभी तक कभी भी ये क्वेश्चन नहीं आया है और नहीं आएगा. So don't worry about the axial rise, don't worry about the length of pitch, don't worry about it. But BDNA का length of pitch याद रखना पड़ेगा. So length of one pitch is 28.16, but in case of human, it is going to be 34 Armstrongs या फिर 3.4 nanometers जो अभी हमने देखा था. Okay. Diameter in human beings, it is going to be 20 Armstrongs. Just remember all the details about the BDNA. Rest you have to just remember right-handed कौन है, left-handed कौन है, and how many base pairs are there. That question they have asked many times in match the following. So A, B, C, D and Z and 8, 9, 12 ऐसे ना उन्होंने match the following वाला question दिया है बहुत बार. So please be careful with how many base pairs are going to be there per, how many base pairs are going to be there per turn. ठीक है, तो BDNA का जो है वो प्लीज याद रखिएगा बेटा. राइट हैंडेड 10 base pairs, sugar phosphate backbone is smooth, axial rise is 3.37, pitch turn is 34 Armstrongs या फिर 3.4 nanometers, and diameter is 20 Armstrongs या फिर 2 nanometers, whatever you say. Well, this is about the types of DNA. Let us talk about the DNA replication. Most important, most crucial, and I won't say it is complicated. It's not at all complicated. It's not at all difficult if you understand. But if you don't pay attention, कुछ भी नहीं समझेगा, ये मेरी गारंटी है. और इसीलिए मैंने अभी जस्ट डिक्लेयर किया है कि ये वाला रिकॉर्डिंग किसी को भी नहीं मिलेगा. राइट? Let us talk about the DNA replication. DNA replication takes place during the S phase of the cell cycle, is what we already know, at the time of the cell division during interphase. While proposing the double helical structure of DNA, Watson and Crick had immediately proposed a scheme for replication of DNA. So, when they proposed how is the structure of DNA, they also proposed the scheme that how this DNA is actually going to replicate. Okay. The scheme suggested that the two strands would separate and each of them will act as a template for the synthesis of a new complementary strand. So these are the two DNA strands, they will separate. Okay. अब इसके ऊपर और एक DNA strand बनेगा, वैसे ही इसके ऊपर और एक DNA strand बनेगा. So the double stranded DNA will now become four stranded. Okay, that is what the ideology is all about, put forward by Watson and Crick. After the completion of replication, each DNA molecule would have one parental and one newly synthesized strand. Of course, तो ये जो दो parental हम लोग इनको कहते हैं जो separate हो रहे हैं. So the ones which are separating will be called as what? Parental. और इसके ऊपर एक नया strand बनेगा और इसके ऊपर एक नया strand बनेगा. They would be called as newly synthesized strands. Right? This scheme was termed as semi-conservative DNA replication. Semi-conservative means in the new DNA, 50% of the DNA is the parental strand and 50% of the DNA is a newly synthesized strand. Therefore, it is called as semi-conservative, half conservative. उन्होंने half DNA strand parent का conserve करके रखा है and half DNA strand जो है वो नया बनाया है, right? So therefore, it is going to be called as semi-conservative. But who would believe this semi-conservative nature? So to prove the semi-conservative nature, there were many scientists who came up with their ideologies. So they have given this experimental proof, which was given by Michelson and Stahl. So many times they have asked this question on Michelson and Stahl. Yeah, 50% originality, right, beta? Yes, true. So what is the experimental proof? It is now proven that DNA replicates semi-conservatively. It was first shown in E. coli and subsequently in higher organisms as well, such as plants also and human cells also. So let it be any DNA from any source, 50% will be parental strand, 50% will be new strand, therefore it is going to show semi-conservative nature. Matthew Michelson and Franklin Stahl performed the following experiment in the year 1958. A very beautiful experiment. And again, as I always say, many questions have been asked on them. Well, they grew E. coli in the medium containing, now here they are going to use 15N, which is an heavy isotope of nitrogen. So NH4Cl उन्होंने use किया है medium में, and N is heavy isotope, not radio labeled. In your Hershey and Chase experiment, the phosphorus and the sulfur were having this radio labeled isotopes. 15N is not a radioactive label. It's heavy isotope of nitrogen. Please understand this. As it is the only nitrogen source for many years, many generations. The result was that 15N was incorporated into newly synthesized DNA as well as other nitrogen containing compounds. This heavy DNA molecule could be distinguished from the normal DNA by centrifugation in cesium chloride density gradient. Note that 15N is not radioactive isotope and it can be separated easily from the 14N only based on these densities. So based on densities, इसको हम आराम से separate कर सकते हैं. This was an experiment performed by Michelson and Stahl. This is the language of your NCERT textbook, which I'm sure no one of you all have understood. Correct? ये क्या हो रहा है यही नहीं समझ में आया आपको. Don't worry, I'll tell you what is it all about. That's why I said pay attention to whatever I'm going to say now. I know, beta. You're not the only one. There is no one over here who would have, or maybe understood to a part of it. But ये क्या हो रहा है कुछ नहीं समझ में आ रहा. Correct? Don't worry. They transferred. अरे यार ये box क्यों है यार बीच में? I just don't like that box coming in between. It distracts every one of us. So they transfer the cells into a medium with normal NH4Cl and took samples at various definite time intervals as the cells multiplied and extracted the DNA that remained as double-stranded helices. The various samples were separated independently on cesium chloride gradients to measure the densities of DNA. The results shown are as follows. अब यहाँ पर practically speaking ये क्या है? What is it? So understand the concept of this now. ठीक है? Forget about the language, whatever is there. Whatever I'm saying now, pay attention. As in Hershey and Chase experiment, I had explained, whatever carbon source, whatever phosphorus source, whatever sulfur source will be available will be taken up by the E. coli to multiply, right? In the same way, we have taken a petri dish, we have taken nutrient medium in there, and in that nutrient medium, the nitrogen source which is added, the nitrogen source which is added is N15H4Cl. So हमने ये मीडियम में क्या डाला बेटा? हेवी आइसोटोप ऑफ नाइट्रोजन डाल के हमने ये मीडियम बनाया है. So we have taken what? NH4Cl15. समझ में आ गई बात? Now when the E. coli will replicate, उसके पास जो न्यूट्रिएंट सोर्स है, जैसे कि आज खाने में अगर भिंडी की सब्जी बनाई है तो बाय डिफॉल्ट आपको आज क्या खाना पड़ेगा? भिंडी की सब्जी खानी पड़ेगी. There is no other source of vegetable today available at your home. So whatever is available, you have to consume. Correct? Right? In the same way, in this petri dish, whatever is available will be forced by the microbes to use it. So इसमें क्या है बेटा? ये petri dish में हमने क्या डाला है? We have used NH4Cl, right? But that N is a heavy isotope. वो वाला हमने नाइट्रोजन सोर्स अवेलेबल करा के दिया न्यूट्रिएंट मीडियम में. Now what is the option left with E. coli? Nothing. Use the N15 wala nitrogen source and incorporate them into its DNA. Why it requires? Why N is going to be required? Because adenine, guanine, thymine, cytosine सब nitrogen base है. Correct? तो adenine का nitrogen जो है that will now be N15. Guanine का भी N15. Adenine का भी N15. Thymine का भी N15. You understand? So whatever nitrogen source is available, उठाया, DNA में use किया. So by now what has happened? By now the entire population of E. coli has got the nitrogen source as N15. Did you all understand this? है ना? तो अगर जितने भी E. coli हमारे पास है, उनको अगर हमने एक सेल को रप्चर करा और उनका डीएनए एक्सट्रैक्ट करेंगे तो उसके डीएनए में हमें क्या मिलेगा? हेवी आइसोटोप मिलेगा. हेवी आइसोटोप N15 मिलेगा. क्यों N15 मिलेगा? अरे उसको खाने को दिया ही है N15. समझ में आ रही है बात? है ना? तो जैसे कि ये होता है, आपने देखा है, आई डोंट नो इफ यू हैव सीन दी सीआईडी वाले एपिसोड्स एंड ऑल, उसमें दिखाते हैं कि अगर कोई बंदा मर गया तो उसका क्या किया जाता है? पोस्टमार्टम किया जाता है. तो इन दैट पोस्टमार्टम अगर उसने कुछ पॉइजन खाया है तो जो खाया है वही मिलेगा कि नहीं उसके पेट में, कि दूसरा कुछ मिलेगा? गेट मी? सो जो कंज्यूम किया है वही मिलेगा. इन द सेम वे दिस E. coli हैज टेकन अप N15 फ्रॉम द मीडियम. तो उसके डीएनए में क्या मिलेगा बेटा? जो उसने कंज्यूम किया है वही मिलेगा, है ना? हाँ. Correct. So in this way, the DNA of the E. coli, which is growing in N15 medium, will always incorporate N15 in its DNA. इधर तक clear हुआ mind? इधर तक समझ में आ गई बात? है कोई जिसको ये point नहीं समझा है? तो फिर आगे का समझेगा, नहीं तो नहीं समझेगा. समझा? Anyone who has not understood this? So what have Michelson and Stahl done? Michelson and Stahl have allowed the E. coli to grow on medium containing N15 as a source of nitrogen instead of normal N14. Perfect? Perfect. Now what they have done is, the next thing that they have done is, they have seen, they have confirmed कि भाई ये N15 ही incorporate हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. तो इसीलिए उन्होंने क्या किया, they cannot see this, it is not radioactive, so they cannot view under UV radiations or nothing they can do. तो उनको कैसे समझेगा कि heavy isotope लिया है कि नहीं लिया है. Therefore they use centrifugation as a method to analyze the density of nitrogen. So जो heavy है वो सेंट्रीफ्यूगेशन के ट्यूब में कहाँ चला जाएगा बेटा, नीचे चला जाएगा कि ऊपर स्विम करता रहेगा. where will it go, where will it go, tell me this. डाउन ना, एग्जैक्टली नीचे चला जाएगा ना. तो यहाँ पर देखो बेटा, here you can see very clearly this is N15 के दो strands of E. coli also going to have double stranded DNA. So under centrifugation, after doing the centrifugation, ये N15 किधर आके settle हो गया, almost at the bottom of the test tube, almost at the bottom of the test tube. agreed about this, right? इधर तक समझ में आ गई बात. So हुआ है incorporation या नहीं हुआ है, this could only be analyzed by centrifugation. किस में centrifuge करेंगे, it requires some medium. पानी में नहीं डाल सकते हम लोग इसको, DNA को पानी में नहीं डाल सकते हम लोग, right? Correct, it will get solubilized, so it has to be added in some medium. So what is that medium in which this was added? It was cesium chloride. So on a cesium chloride centrifugation gradient is what we say. Cesium chloride लिया, इसमें वो E. coli का DNA डाला और centrifuge किया. सेंट्रीफ्यूज करने पर ये सीजियम क्लोराइड का ये जो टेस्ट ट्यूब से भरा हुआ सीजियम क्लोराइड है, उसके बेस पे उनको एक बैंड दिखाई दिया एज दिस. यू कैन सी दिस बैंड वेरी क्लियरली नाउ. So this is a red color ka band which has been formed at the base of this. Correct? Okay. The next thing that they did was they picked up the E. coli containing N15 means this particular DNA containing E. coli है ना. उन्होंने एक दूसरा E. coli का कॉलोनी उठाया जो जिंदा है ना, उस E. coli को उठाया और उसको अब N14 वाले मीडियम में डाल दिया. किधर डाल दिया, किसमें डाल दिया बेटा, N14 containing medium में डाल दिया. Now what will happen, as I say, अगर भिंडी की सब्जी है तो भिंडी की सब्जी खानी पड़ेगी, कल अगर आपको आलू की सब्जी दी तो आलू की सब्जी खानी पड़ेगी, तो जो दे रहे वो खाना पड़ेगा. So today they were provided with N15, so they had incorporated N15 in their DNA, but tomorrow they are going to be given N14. So what is the option left with them, क्या करेंगे वो, what will they use, what will they use, come on tell me. अगर उनको N14 प्रोवाइड किया गया है तो उनके पास ऑप्शन है क्या कुछ दूसरा. एग्जैक्टली, दे हैव गॉट नो ऑप्शन. वेरी करेक्ट, दे विल बी ओनली यूजिंग अप N14. ओके, सो दे विल टेक अप N14, दे विल टेक अप N14. अब देखो क्या होने वाला है, वन स्ट्रैंड इज ऑलरेडी N15 है उसके. जब रेप्लिकेशन होता है तो दोनों स्ट्रैंड सेपरेट हो जाएंगे. ये स्ट्रैंड पे N15 है, ये स्ट्रैंड पे N15 है. अग्रीड. बट ड्यूरिंग DNA replication what will happen, new DNA will be new nucleotides will be added, but those new nucleotides will have N14 ना, because today N14 मिला है उनको. So now the new strand which will be synthesized over here will be N14. Even the new strand synthesized here will be N14. So now it will be N14 N15 का एक strand, N14 N15 का दूसरा strand. Did you get me? So we call this strand as hybrid DNA. ये hybrid हुआ कि नहीं, 15 14 15 14 बराबर है. So look at this second one, look at this one. So ये जो रेड कलर का है ये सेपरेट हुआ बेटा. इन दोनों में से जब ये दो सेपरेट हो गए तो ये किधर आ गया रेड वाला और ये किधर चला गया रेड वाला. नाउ दिस रेड वाला इज गोइंग टू बी अ टेम्पलेट स्ट्रैंड, रेड वाला इज गोइंग टू बी द टेम्पलेट स्ट्रैंड. अब ये ग्रीन वाला जो बन रहा है दैट इज N14. ओके, सो N15 के टेम्पलेट पे N14 न्यू सिंथेसिस, सिमिलरली N15 के टेम्पलेट पे N14 का न्यू सिंथेसिस. So after 20 minutes immediately, when this sample was analyzed, what did they get? They got an intermediate band. N15 के इतना नीचे नहीं गया है, थोड़ा ऊपर आया है, देखो. In that cesium chloride का centrifuge gradient, instead of the position of the N15 here, which was heavy isotope, अभी hybrid है, मतलब intermediate position है उसका. So it is now going to be floating a bit higher than the N15. Did you all understand? Now why 20 minutes? Because E. coli ka replication time is 20 minutes. After every 20 minutes, it is going to replicate. So immediately when N15 was transferred to N14, after 20 minutes, this sample was removed and analyzed. And they found out, yes, हमारी बात सही है. एक पेरेंटल है, एक न्यूली सिंथेसाइज्ड है. पेरेंटल जो है वो हैवी वाला है, न्यूली सिंथेसाइज्ड जो है वो 14 वाला है. Therefore, they got hybrid strands. Did you all understand up till here the second point? Anyone who has got any confusion with this? I'm going to give you questions on this. I'm going to give you numericals on this. N14 wala, whenever the N15 containing E. coli was placed on N14 medium, it has got no option but to incorporate N14. So N15 के दो strands separate हो गए. Correct? दोनों N15 के स्ट्रैंड पे जो नए दो स्ट्रैंड्स बने हैं, दे आर ऑफ N14. So this strand also became N14 N15. This strand also became N14 N15. Is it fine? So N15 N14 वाले या N15 N14 वाले को हम क्या कहते हैं? हाइब्रिड कहते हैं, which you can see on the screen in the diagram. One red, one green. One red, one green. Red कहाँ से आए? ये देखो, ये जो N15 वाले दो red है ना, they got separated. 14 कहाँ से आए? These are the newly synthesized strands. So one is the parental strand called as the template strand, while the other is the newly formed strand. Here also one is the template strand, while the other is the newly formed strand. So these two are going to be called as N14, N15 hybrids because one is light, one is heavy. They won't settle at the bottom like too heavy. N15, N15 दोनों heavy थे, so they went to the bottom. N14, N15 medium है, इसलिए वो bottom नहीं गए, वो थोड़े ऊपर उसके 15 के थोड़े से ऊपर की तरफ फ्लोट हो रहे हैं. Now got it? हाँ. Person had two different DNAs due to bone marrow transplant. So, no, there is going to be matching. If it is going to be matching, only then it is going to be allowed. Otherwise, no. So then the strands of hybrid separate and they form light. Devang, very good, beta. Bilkul correct. Bilkul correct. That is your generation 2, where I'm going to come to. Correct? मुझे मैं आने ही वाली हूँ वहां पर. I'm coming over there only. Very nice, very nice, perfect. Have you all understood up till here, my dear? Generation 1 तक समझ में आ गया? So ये parental है. This is after 20 minutes you will get generation 1. After 20 minutes we will get generation 2. So generation 2 में क्या हो रहा है देखो. Generation 2 में क्या हो रहा है देखो. Now these are going to be your hybrid strands, right? Each hybrid strand will separate during DNA replication. Each hybrid strand will separate during DNA replication. So red, green will separate, red, green will separate. So all the 4 strands have now separated from each other. Yes, Shruti, you're right. You're right. First we have given them N15, then we have given them N14, and after we gave them N14, after 20 minutes we got hybrid strands. But after 20 minutes, मतलब total 40 minutes के बाद क्या होगा? Even these two hybrid strands also will separate. Because replication तो every after 20 minutes E. coli में होता ही रहता है. So what will happen now? The red green will separate, red green will separate. Agreed? So now what is going to happen? Green will get one more green. Red also will get one more green. Another red will also get one more green. And another green will also get one more green. So here you can see, ये जो green separate हुआ है, ये वाला, it is this one. It got one more green, N14. ये वाला, ये green, N14. और बीच में देखो, दो hybrid. Exactly. So 2 are going to be hybrids and 2 are going to be light. 2 hybrid, 2 light. Agreed in the second generation? N14 only, we have continued. Yes, Parnavi, we have continued them in N14 only. We are not changing them again. Now we are keeping them in 14 only. Okay. So now what has happened? See, ये एक hybrid मिला और ये एक क्या मिला? Light मिला. So light is actual light. Therefore it is floating all the more on the upper side. Huh? Why N15 is not been involved? N15 में से हमने निकाला. N15 के मीडियम से हमने उसको निकालकर N14 में डाल दिया. Therefore now N15 won't be involved. Okay. Got it? Yeah. So here what has happened beta? Here now N15 तो होना impossible है. N15 available ही नहीं है तो वो कैसे मतलब कहाँ से आएगा नए strand बनाने के लिए? Got it? Understood? So here what has happened? N14 का एक strand मिला, एक मतलब couple strand, और इधर N15 का couple strand मिला. So in this way we got now 2 bands, light and hybrid. Have you all followed this? कुछ समझ में आ रहा है? अब इसमें एक चीज आपने कुछ ऑब्जर्व की है क्या बेटा? One चीज if you have observed very precisely, if you can observe one thing, whenever we shift the equali from heavy to light, हाइब्रिड हमेशा 2 होते ही है, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए, कितने भी जनरेशन तुम लोग आगे जाओ, हाइब्रिड आपको 2 मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे. क्यों 2 मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे? क्योंकि ओरिजिनल पेरेंट के पास 2 हाइब्रिड थे. ये देखो, ये ओरिजिनल पेरेंट है, उसके पास 2 हाइब्रिड, उसके पास हेवी थे, तो वो तो हमेशा सेपरेट होते ही रहेंगे ना. कोई भी जनरेशन आगे, जितने भी जनरेशन आगे जाने दो, these two original parental N15 are always going to be there, which are going to separate, and every time they'll get one new strand. Okay, so कितने भी जनरेशन आगे जाने दो बेटा, 2 हाइब्रिड्स हमेशा मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे. करेक्ट? यस श्रुति, परफेक्टली सेड बेटा, क्योंकि ओरिजिनल 2 हमेशा उनके पास थे ही. So this particular experiment was done by Messelson and Stahl, and they have proved that DNA is replicating in a semi-conservative fashion, one having the parental strand and the other which is a newly synthesized strand. Have you all understood the second generation wala point? Is there anyone who has not followed any part, beta? Got it? Okay. Well, so my next question for you all is, how many, you can note down this, please write down this question, my dear. Please write down this question. On this only I'm giving. Please write down. How many light strands, comma, hybrid strands, comma, and heavy strands? How many light strands, hybrid strands, and heavy strands would be obtained in the third generation? इसी को आगे लेके जाओ बेटा. Light strands. N14 are called as light. N15 are called as hybrid, and N15 is called as heavy. Devang, very good answer, perfect answer. Come on, tell me the others. Other 2 का क्या होगा बताओ बेटा in the third generation? Very good Devang, you're on the perfect track. Go ahead. Others, please try to understand. Okay. Some are saying 4 light, 2 hybrid. Some are saying 8 light, 2 hybrid. Some are saying 4 light, 4 hybrid. 8 light, 2 hybrid. 6 light, 2 hybrid. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, let me just, I just want to know like, you know, how are you all doing this? तो ये देखो हाँ बेटा, यहाँ पर 2 के 4 हो गए हैं, मतलब 4 के कितने होने चाहिए ये आप अंदाजा ले लो। 1 के 2 बने, 2 के 4 बने, 4 के कितने बनेंगे? हाँ, तो उसमें से कितने लाइट और कितने हाइब्रिड और कितने हेवी? Okay, very good, very good. Now almost all of you are giving me the right answer, my dears. Yes, Ashita, you are right, beta. Total 8 strands बनेंगे, correct? Total 8 बनेंगे. रेड क्या होता है? रेड नहीं बताओ मुझे, डोंट टेल मी विद नंबर्स, टेल मी लाइट कितने हैं, हाइब्रिड कितने और हेवी कितने हैं? हेवी मतलब N15 N15 माय डियर्स, हेवी का मतलब होता है हेवी आइसोटोप. Heavy isotope is N15 N15. We are continuing their generation in N14 medium. Okay, I've got many weird answers viewer in my chat box where I can see. Okay, तो इसको है ना, ये जो जब ये ऐसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं तो इसको बहुत सिंपल तरीके से हमें सॉल्व करना है बेटा. बिल्कुल इजी मेथड बता रही हूँ मैं हमें. सोनाली, यू आर राइट. स्नेहा, you are also right. Very good. Yes, David, even you're right now. Okay, I'll just tell you how to do this, हाँ बेटा. Just please pay attention to this because ये question आएगा 110% आपके इसमें आने वाला है. किसमें? एग्जाम में. ये मैं आज ही लिख के दे रही हूँ तुम्हें. 110% ये क्वेश्चन आने वाला है. ओके, सो पे अटेंशन टू व्हाटएवर आई एम सेइंग. ये देखो, ये जब ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है ना तो देयर इज अ मेथड. अब ये 2 ग्रीन है ना, इनको सेपरेट करो. Separate them. This is one green, this is another green. Separate these 2 greens. वैसे इधर भी 2 ग्रीन है, आपको दिखाई दे रहा है यहाँ पर. Separate this green, separate this green. Okay, you can see one more green over here. Can you see ये वाला? Okay, separate this green also. Can you see one green over here, my dear? Separate this green also. So you have separated all the greens by now, right? Right? Check. The next thing is we'll take the red color का marker and we'll take the red one outside. ये देखो, ये red है ना बेटा, ये red को separate करो. This is going to be among your hybrid में से N15 वाला strand है. वैसे hybrid में से ये भी N15 वाला strand है. पहले separation कर लिया आपने? Have you all done the separation? Okay. Now we have to see that they are in N14 means they are going to be getting what? They are going to be getting green color का strand. So yes, this green will become double stranded in the 3rd generation. Correct? ये green के ऊपर भी ये parent है, इसके ऊपर एक नया आ गया. Okay? ये red है, इसके ऊपर भी green ही आएगा because now what is available today? Green is available, so इसके ऊपर भी green ही आएगा. ये green है, उसके ऊपर भी green ही आएगा. Right? Everywhere you will only add what? Green, because only green is available. So red के ऊपर भी green आएगा और green के ऊपर भी green ही आएगा. You understanding what I'm doing actually? Yeah. So here there is one more green. So you will get one more green over here. Here there is one more green. Now count how many greens are there, double strands, and how many only reds are there, and how many green and red are there. Come on. Now you can tell me very clearly. So ये देखो बेटा, one green, 2 green, 3 green, 4 green, 5 green, इधर भी है देखो ये, नहीं 4, ये हो गया 5 green और ये 6 green. So we have got 6 green. How many reds are there? How many reds are there? रेड एंड ग्रीन वाले कितने हैं? रेड एंड ग्रीन वाले बताओ कितने हैं? 2 है, ये देखो बेटा, ये वाला रेड एंड ग्रीन का मिक्सचर है और ये वाला भी रेड एंड ग्रीन का मिक्सचर है. सो हाइब्रिड 2 है और ग्रीन कितने हैं? 6 है. करेक्ट. सो हैवी है क्या कोई यहाँ पर? इज देयर एनी हैवी और इज इट 2 हाइब्रिड एंड 6 लाइट? हाउ मेनी आर देयर? हाँ, एग्जैक्टली. सो हमेशा याद रखो बेटा, इन द थर्ड जनरेशन, व्हेनेवर देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ थर्ड जनरेशन ना, तो इस तरीके से उसको सॉल्व करना है. अभी तक आपको फोर्थ या फिफ्थ जनरेशन तक लेके नहीं गए हैं, लेकिन आई विल गिव यू ऑल अ शॉर्टकट टू दैट आल्सो. बट हैव यू ऑल टेक्निकली अंडरस्टूड हाउ टू डू दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन? अगर ये क्वेश्चन आता है तो आपको समझ में आया इसको कैसे सॉल्व करना है बराबर से, राइट? सो फर्स्ट थिंग whenever there are thumb rules for this, जो आगे नहीं बताया है, ये मेरे तरफ से मैं आपको शॉर्ट ट्रिक्स दे रही हूँ बेटा. याद रख सकोगे तो इट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर यू ऑल ओनली, रादर देन डूइंग सो मच ऑफ झमेलास एंड सो मच ऑफ you know long method. I'm giving you a short trick to solve this question within 5 seconds. Whenever they ask the generation, just use the formula 2 raised to n, where n is the number of generation. 2 raised to n, that is I'm asking about third generation, so 2 raised to n will be 2 into 2 into 2, that is 2 raised to 3. So 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8. आता है श्रुति, वैसे भी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, मैं दूंगी ना आपको. I'll give you all as a practice. Firstly, what is the first rule beta? 2 raised to n, where n is the generation number. So I ask you, in generation 3, how many strands of this are going to be made? Okay. Generation 3 बोलते ही सबसे पहले याद रखो बेटा, it is 2 raised to 3. So 2 into 2 into 2, that gives you answer as 8. So in the third generation, always there are going to be 8 double stranded DNA that is going to be formed. First rule समझ में आया? Okay. Well, then they are asking that how many are light, how many are hybrid, how many are heavy. Correct? अब जो मीडियम उसको दिया है, जिस मीडियम में वो है, इन द थर्ड जनरेशन की मैं बात कर रही हूँ, सेकंड की नहीं बात कर रही हूँ, मैं थर्ड की बात कर रही हूँ. जिस मीडियम में वो है, वो सबसे ज्यादा रहेंगे नंबर में. ठीक है, वो सबसे ज्यादा रहेंगे नंबर में. तो अभी इधर कौन से मीडियम में है? वो N14 मीडियम में है. सो N14 विल बी मैक्सिमम इन नंबर. एंड always remember this thumb rule, my dears. Always remember this thumb rule, that is whatever 2 raised to n का आपका आंसर आएगा ना, -2 will be a hybrid. so हमेशा 2 जो है वो हाइब्रिड ही रहेंगे. हमेशा हाइब्रिड, हमेशा 2 ही रहते हैं. क्योंकि अब भी आपने देखा, इवन इन द थर्ड जनरेशन, रेड एंड ग्रीन आर ओनली 2 बिकॉज ओरिजिनल पेरेंट वाज ओनली 2. So hybrids will always be 2 only. So 8 minus 2, 6 will be the medium in which they are growing and 2 will be the hybrid. इतना simple calculation है ये. Okay. So whatever medium they are growing ना, let them grow in whatever medium. जो medium उन्होंने पूछा है that will be maximum. And hybrids हमेशा माइनस रहेंगे 2. तो जो 2 है वो हाइब्रिड है. बाकी जो आंसर है वो लाइट में ग्रो हो रहे हैं तो लाइट, डार्क में ग्रो हो रहे हैं तो डार्क. डार्क मतलब हेवी जो भी है वो. Did you all understand? So suppose I ask you in the fourth generation, how many would be light, how many will be hybrid? Come on, tell me. How many light, how many hybrid? फटाक से आंसर देना है आपको. Very good, Parnavi. Excellent, Sneha. Come on, others. 16 and 2 नहीं बेटा, 16 total बने हैं ना, तो out of 16 minus 2, so 14 are light and 2 are hybrid. Did you all understand? So इतना झमेला मत करो. This is just for making you all understand the concept. मैंने इतना मतलब explanation देना पड़ता है, directly shortcut नहीं दे सकती हूँ. आपको समझना चाहिए आप क्या कर रहे हो. But rather than wasting time in your drawing these and counting and calculating, 2 minutes 2 seconds में काम हो गया. हाँ या ना? Come on, tell me. In the 6th generation, how much it would be? 6. हाँ, yes, Prachi, you're right. Hybrid is always 2. 6th generation. चलो 6, 2 raised to 6 करके बताओ आंसर मुझे. Come on. Very good, Parnavi. Excellent. 2 into 2 into 2 ऐसे 6 times करो, जो आंसर आता है बोलो बेटा. Very good. Yes, Ishita, right. 2 hybrid, I agree. I agree. Yes, Tanvi, perfect. Now you all have, अरे 30 light, 30 light कैसे आएगा my dear? मैं 2 raised to 6 बोल रही हूँ. So 2 raised to 6 the answer will be what? 64. 64 minus 2. 64. हाँ, तो 62 light and 2 hybrid. Heavy नहीं बेटा, heavy नहीं. Heavy आएगा ही नहीं. Hybrid आता है. Heavy मतलब N15. That is heavy. So heavy नहीं आएगा इसमें. Okay. Come on, tell me. 8 generations. After 8 generations. Come on. After 8 generation, how many light and how many hybrid? Excellent, Parnavi. Very nice. Yes, Biba, right. Sonali, right. Ishita, right. Himanshu, right. अभी इतने फास्ट है ना, तुम लोग के नाम नहीं ले रही हूँ मैं. सिया, right. सारा, right. Tanvi, right. Priyanka, right. Shruti, right. Very good. So now you all have got this. Yes, Ashita, you're right, beta. You're perfectly right. Okay. So 2 raised to 8 gives you 256. So 256 minus 2. So 2 hybrid है, 254 light है. As easy as that now, right? तो अगर ये क्वेश्चन आता है तो बाकी की जनता क्या करेगी? ये ड्राइंग करेगी, ढूंढती बैठेगी, क्वेश्चन को छोड़ देगी. मेरे बच्चे क्या करेंगे? 2 सेकंड में आंसर मार्क करके +4 लेके आएंगे या नहीं बोलो? हाँ. Yes, beta. So we have to do smart work. That is what I'm always I say. Please do smart work. Understand the concept. Concept has to be understood. But you should not waste time. अरे नीट का एग्जाम है भाई, टाइम पास करने के लिए टाइम है नहीं. हाँ, और बोर्ड्स में भी ये क्वेश्चन आता है. आंसर इन 1 सेंटेंस के लिए आंसर इन 1 वर्ड, वो जो भी है फिल इन द ब्लैंक टाइप. तो प्लीज माय डियर्स, डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम इन सच अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन. Is it okay? Well, now you all have understood the trick. Can I give you one question? Can you all please write it down? Please write it down, beta. इसको लिख लो, please. E. coli was allowed to grow in. E. coli was allowed to grow in medium containing N14. It was then transferred to medium containing N15. Find out the number of light strands, hybrid strands, and heavy strands after 3 generations. Light, hybrid, and heavy after 3 generations. Tell me the answer, beta. I've already given the rules to you all, and I've already given the trick to you all. Generation is third. Very good, Parnavi. Perfect answer. Sia correct. Sia correct. Very nice, Sia. Very good, David. Very nice, my dear. Very good. Sneha, very good. Sonali, very good. Ishita, very good. Come on, others. Look at it. What are you writing? Are you writing 6 light or are you writing 6 heavy? वो सोच के लिखो. वो सोच के लिखो. Dark या heavy, whatever. Yeah, I'll give you dark also. Dark. चलो, light and dark के हिसाब से तुम लोग ले रहे हो. It's actually lightweight and heavyweight. वैसे वो light and heavy है. Very nice. So almost yes. Prachi, Shruti, Tanvi. Very good, my dears. Very good. So you all have given the correct answers. Very good, Ashwin. Very good, my dear. बिल्कुल सही answer. Yes, Ashita, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Okay. So this is the way we have to solve these questions. So it's going to be what? 6 heavy and 2 hybrid. As the rule says, hybrid हमेशा 2 ही रहेंगे और जिस medium में वो grow हो रहा है वो सबसे ज़्यादा रहेगा. Would you be able to solve these questions henceforth, or would you make a blunder still? Huh? Would you be able to do it? Sure. Very good. So this is about your semi-conservative nature of DNA. Yeah. So it's going to be the semi-conservative nature of DNA. So the questions come in your board exams as give an experimental proof to explain the semi-conservative nature of DNA replication. So you have to write about this experiment and you have to make these diagrams. जो इधर डायग्राम बनाए हुए आपको दिखाई दे रहे हैं ना वो. एंड डोंट फॉरगेट द सीजियम क्लोराइड ग्रेडियंट. ओके. तो ये जो बैंड्स फ्लोट हो रहे हैं वो किसके ऊपर फ्लोट हो रहे हैं? तो सीजियम क्लोराइड के ऊपर फ्लोट हो रहे हैं. दैट इज व्हाट आई वांट टू टॉक अबाउट. So I guess you all have followed what I wanted to tell you all about the semi-conservative replication of DNA. So thus the DNA that was extracted from the culture 1 generation after the transfer of N15 to N14 medium, that is after 20 minutes, since the E. coli divides in 20 minutes, had a hybrid or intermediate density. DNA extracted from the culture after another generation, that is after total 40 minutes, that is the second generation, was composed of equal amounts of this DNA, that is jitne hybrid utne hi light. Very similar experiments involving use of radioactive thymidine to detect the distribution of newly synthesized DNA in chromosomes was performed by Taylor on Vixia faba, that is faba beans, in 1958. So ये question 2017 का था बेटा, that Taylor and his colleagues had performed an experiment using radioactive thymidine on which plant? The same question was asked in the year 2014, saying that which radioactive isotope was used to detect semi-conservative nature in faba beans by Taylor. 2007 or 2008 there was a question that using radioactive thymidine, faba beans were analyzed by whom? So ये पर्टिकुलर सेंटेंस के ऊपर अलग अलग तरीके से क्वेश्चंस ऑलरेडी आ चुके हैं. So don't make a blunder with this statement. But here that is Taylor has used radioactive isotopes, while Michelson and Stahl have not used radioactivity. They have used heavy isotopes of nitrogen. Okay. The experiments proved that the DNA in chromosomes also replicate semi-conservatively. So these all things have, like finally, what do we say? कि समझ में क्या आता है हमें कि सेमी कंजर्वेटिव नेचर हमेशा होता है डीएनए में, दैट इज 50% आर पेरेंटल and 50% are going to be the newly synthesized strands on the template. Have all of you all have understood up till here? Anyone who has not understood any part of it, my dears? किसी भी बंदे को कुछ नहीं समझा है, ऐसा कोई पॉइंट है इधर? Got it? Okay. I told you there are sums on Chargaff's rule also, and I did not give you any sums on Chargaff's rule, my dear. So वो भी quickly दे देती हूँ. We have got almost 5 minutes in hand. At least एक दो sums हम लोग करके wind up करेंगे आज का lecture. ठीक है? तो Chargaff rule क्या है? जितने एडिनिन है उतना थाइमिन है, जितने ग्वानिन है उतने साइटोसिन है. ये Chargaff's rule है. Okay? And this is always going to be equal to 1, मतलब percent wise, 100% के हिसाब से. Fine. So kindly write down this question for Chargaff's rule. Heading दे देना बेटा. Give the heading as Chargaff's rule. Give the heading as Chargaff's rule. Give the heading as Chargaff's rule and write down this. In a DNA molecule, the amount of adenine was 30%. The amount of adenine was 30%. Find out the amount of cytosine. Find out the amount of cytosine. Come on. How would you do this? What is given to you all? Given क्या है बेटा? Given क्या है? What is given? Come on. Okay. Okay. I know majority of you all will give me this answer. Listen. Adenine. ये क्या हो रहा है? Why am I not able to write? Adenine is equal to how much I said? 30%. Correct? 30% is adenine. And what is asked? C is equal to how much is asked? Sorry. C is equal to how much? ये पूछा गया है ना? Okay. So I have asked you how much is cytosine. Who's this? Perfectly answered, beta. Very good. Ishita was right with her answer. In fact, perfect answer. So see, my dear, what is the rule? जितना adenine है उतना thymine है. Correct? जितना adenine उतना thymine. So by default, what is going to happen over here? Even T will be what? T also will be 30 only. Okay. तो 100% में 100% ऑफ डीएनए मॉलिक्यूल में 60% हो गए ए एंड टी. करेक्ट. तो सी एंड जी कितना बचा बेटा? 40% इज गोइंग टू बी जी एंड सी. सो 40% में सी कितना और जी कितना? इवन दे शुड बी इक्वल ना. वेरी गुड देवांग. यस नेहा. यस यस. नाउ यू ऑल हैव गॉट इट. Exactly. So the C will be how much? 20. And G will be 20 to make up 100 na. So 30 plus 30 plus 20 plus 20 is going to be your 100%. तो अगर adenine दिया और cytosine पूछा, अगर thymine दिया और guanine पूछा, या would you be able to solve this? Is it easy? So these type of questions are going to be coming in your examinations. Please be careful and don't make a blunder. If they ask you A30 है तो G कितना है? A30 है तो G कितना है? अगर ऐसे आया तो आपका आंसर क्या आ जाएगा? समझ में आ रहा है ना? हाँ. Okay. Exactly. So that is what they ask you. That is what they ask you. And we also know that A upon G is equal to 1 always, and C upon T is equal to 1. ये हमने already देखा है ना? So that is what is the rule of Chargaff. You can do it the way you want it. Just understand. जो भी question आएगा अच्छी तरह से पढ़ो और उसको solve करो. Right? That was about the Chargaff's rule which I wanted to tell you. And we have already done calculations on the generations for semi-conservative replication of DNA. In the next class, we're going to go ahead with actual replication of DNA. Again, my request to you all, no one will remain absent. And I want all of you all to be paying 100% attention to DNA replication, the most important point of DNA. So next class will be completing DNA entirely, and then we are left with RNA and protein synthesis. So next class I'll be completing DNA. So part 1 of this chapter will get completed on Thursday. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, one. Yes, Prachi. You're right, Beta. You're right. Okay. Chalo. Bye. See you all. Have a nice day ahead and enjoy your 2 days, today and tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, we're going to meet again.